All right. Good morning, everyone. We are live today. I got Jack and Sierra here. So good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Yeah, and 2 weeks in a row, we got Sierra back. So things are getting back to normal. I love it. This is good. Sierra always brings a lot of good information. But Sierra did, hold on, let me go live on Instagram. Sierra did go to year one, the ORAD event, wasn't able to make it to year two. Jack went to year two, wasn't able to make it to year one. But Jack kind of wanted to talk about maybe like goals changing after going to the event, after maybe talking to different people. But yeah, Jack, maybe you can lead us off. What were your goals heading into it, and then now have things changed for you?
Yeah, so my goals were just the short term goals are like fourth quarter of 2026, first quarter 2027 to get Cynthia to a part time, like a more of a part time position and getting her out of her current role into something else, basically just for the insurance and cover different odds and ends, her spending money more or less. But after going to the event, a couple things happened. Uh, one's work related, and the other thing was kind of family related. And I'm not saying that that's not my goal, but I think I'm going to go about it in a slightly different manner. I'm going to obviously I've been talking about the landscaping business. I'm not sure if I talked about it a whole lot on your channel, but I know I've talked about it several times on my channel. But that's coming. That's going to be starting back up, and we'll be going through all that. And the other thing is I'm maybe offered another position with a different company, and I might actually be working both jobs for a while just to pull in extra money. The thing about I don't even want to talk a whole time about because I don't really know a whole lot at this point in time, but I know if that was to go through in about 5 years or like 5, 10 years from now, I would have the option to buy out the business. So that would be something big. And I think honestly, I might switch gears a little bit and do like a little bit more of a Cody Sanchez where I start buying up smaller businesses as well as real estate.
Interesting. Okay, we can dig into that a little bit after. So Sierra, like I said, you went to year one, and then year two you weren't able to make it, and you flaked out on
Mhm.
me. Um,
That's not true. I was committed to not going from the beginning.
okay, so after year one, did kind of perspective on things, your goals change?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I I definitely learned a lot of different strategies. I think the biggest thing that changed was I felt less in a rush. Like I felt very motivated, but it was just great having the support and encouragement that it is like a slower process and that it doesn't have to happen all at once. I know that was more of your style, but uh, yeah, that you could be choosier, especially in the market that 2024 was, and how thin deals were, and just a little more rare and difficult to find. It just made me feel good about being choosy and trying to kind of slow play things and make sure that everything that I have and was going to acquire was going to be as efficient as possible. So I think that was kind of my focus, and rather than the acquisition or trying to build the portfolio, it was more about just creating and optimizing the best of what we had.
Yeah, so we want to say good morning to Big Val, old guy REI stopping by, and yes, he says it's good to see Sierra back. She always has great information, points of view. We love you too, Jack, and as usual, I'm to be determined if I make the cut. Um, but wealth building journey does say smart move, Jack. Keep the capital moving. That's why it's called currency. It moves best when it's flowing. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think, attending the event makes you kind of look at things a lot differently. Sometimes, before you go to the event, you feel like maybe you're falling behind or you're failing at what you're doing, and then you go there and you see people at all different levels, right? People trying to get to where you're at, or even, people ahead of you. And I think I put out a clip just the other day when the Frugal Gay was on, and like he said, someone approached him at the event and they were asking, like, I'm at 6 rentals now, and I want to get to 8, and how do I get there? And Tom, the frugal gay, was like, you don't need to get to 8. You have 6 great rentals. Like that's all you probably need. Like, so I think going to these events, you just see different perspectives, and you kind of see like what works best for you, and how you're going to maneuver moving forward. So Jack, you're talking about even like, focusing on small businesses, things like that. So that I know that was originally, right, like kind of your um, blueprint maybe a few years ago, right? Or is that something you're digging back into because kind of like you're saying Cody Sanchez, Lisa Song Sutton, things like that?
Yeah, so originally that was kind of my blueprint, but then like I thought it would take up too much bandwidth, mental bandwidth to handle all that. But I think, especially once Cynthia goes part time and she's going to be working more in the business anyway, that it's not going to be that big of a deal. But especially what ignited it was the whole thought again was that recently I got turned down for that position at work again, and I was thinking to myself, I really can't rely on anything that this company does, and they always try to make the worst decision possible anyway. So I think, and it's just like I just need to get out of what I'm doing as fast as possible, get both me and Cynthia to a point where we're at least financially independent. I know what really kind of talked me out of it originally was Dion. He was saying, "Don't create yourself another job." But the thing is, it's like for me right now, I need another job to get out of my job, and I just can't stomach the thought of going to work for another corporate person. I'd rather just go work for myself. And that's kind of what brought this back on the table, and especially with talking to this other guy, where he needs help in his business, it'd be learning a trade, if everything went through. And so it'd be something different or a little bit different. And like I said, I can buy out the business in like 5, 10 years when he wants to retire. It Well, I could probably mention this. It's dealing with fire extinguishers.
All right. Yeah. I mean, there's tons of opportunities out there. And I think unless you're really looking at it, right, it's kind of um, you don't see what's out there in a sense, right? Most people are too busy just working their job, trying to find time to watch some, Netflix and things like that. So it's kind of being around this community, going to these events, right? You start seeing what other opportunities, what things you might want to jump into. Because after a while, like I tell people, like I'm not, I would say, in love with real estate, right? I like a lot of the other things it brings, the community, the networking, just the wealth building side of it. But I'm sure I don't think I'd ever get into like fix and flips and things like that. I don't think that's in me. But just being in this community, like you're saying, Jai, you're looking at different businesses, things like that. And even Sierra, right? And before kind of her time off and stuff like that, she was definitely into a lot of side hustles, working on those type of things. Is that still something you're behind the scenes working on?
Yeah, for sure. I just have that, I don't know, innate want to like do a business or do some sort of side hustle and stay busy and productive all the time. So it kind of just satiates me. Not for any particular motive in general, but the extra income is always great. And I feel like that's something that um, is a good skill set to have. And I like being able to do a lot of stuff with my son. And now I do some stuff with my parents as well. And so it's just really fun and fulfilling. So I love the side hustles.
Anything you can talk about that you're working on right now? Or I know you're not doing merchandise stuff as much, right? Like don't place any orders right now at Sierra. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, so I have designs and merchandise stuff that sell, but nothing that I am hands-on with anymore. So that is completely passive at this point. So the stuff that I already have in motion stays in motion. But yeah, I don't put a whole lot of energy into that currently. And I finished up my Hive Mapper. If anyone had followed that, I finished up the driving at the end of last year. So that one kind of wrapped up, and that was enjoyable and a very interesting experience with cryptocurrency. And then now I have been kind of dipping my toe in the water of reselling stuff, mostly on eBay, and kind of started with a challenge to with $100 to see what I could turn that $100 into by the end of the month, and then it has quickly evolved into more consistent reselling. So that's what I've been working on now.
Cool. Sorry, I was trying to. If anyone's out there too, I know Chester probably has it, but can you guys put Dion's maybe link? We're trying to vote. I don't know if it's passed yet, but they're trying to vote to get Dion as one of the speakers at BPCon this year. I think he's been selected with maybe him, Coach Carson. I think there was two other options, but we're trying to vote and get Dion to be one of the speakers at BPCon this year. That would be super awesome, I think. But if someone does have the link, maybe you can put it in there, or just go to YouTube. I think it's on Bigger Pockets, and you can cast your vote. Yeah. So I know I forget how old Summit is. Is he dabbling in any of the side hustles with you yet, or are you trying to get him involved in that way anyway?
So he does the pet sitting stuff with me for sure. Um, so he's really good when we go feed the cats and cleans out the litter box and wants to do, take responsibility for all of that. So that's his favorite.
Does he go? Can he find cats? Because I have a missing cat that ran away.
Is she still
Yeah, she
missing?
took off. I think I pulled a hamstring trying to chase her around the block. Yeah, it wasn't. It
She'll
wasn't
come back.
fun trying to run with a bum shoulder and plantar fasciitis, and then my hamstring cramping up, and yeah, it was bad. Damn cat, man. Feel bad, but yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out ways too to get my son more involved in something, and just like even like yard work, or even just helping stuff around maybe the neighborhood, or even my parents. So where I don't know if you haven't been on for a while, but I think I actually did. I am doing the reverse house hat kind of thing. I'm back with my parents renting out my place. But yeah, so he's here and he has to do the trash every night or check the trash, and um I forget, rubbish, right? Or no, what do we call it? Are you guys, do you remember?
We call it
No, but what did I
trash.
call it one time?
Yeah, what was
I
that?
forget.
Well,
But yeah,
it wasn't a rubbish can, was it? That's not what you said.
I forget what it was now again. We said something and nobody had no idea what I was talking about. Um, yeah, Joe. Yeah, I gotta admit, Joe, it was bad, man. It was like, well, I don't know. The cat's like Mission Impossible, man. It's like hiding in these little spaces. So like, I gotta like fight my way to get through it. Where's Jack? Jack keeps bouncing in and out. Hold on. All right, there he is. You back, man? What's going on?
I'm not sure what happened. I turned up the camera for a split second just so I could blow my nose, not on camera, and it just kicked me out of the whole thing.
Uh, all right, yeah. Yeah. So I guess Jack, maybe as far as changing goal, did anyone else you talked to after going to the event, have they maybe pivoted? I know we can talk about that, but there's a few people that are pivoting in markets, right? Has anyone else talked about pivoting goals and stuff?
Um, I think you kind of covered everyone, especially I found out through your live stream yesterday that Harrison was thinking about buying a business. I didn't see that one coming.
Oh yeah, Harrison's a smart dude, man. He's always thinking. But yeah, I mean, we talk about pivoting. We got like Harrison, Lars, um, a couple other people pivoting to probably Pittsburgh, possibly investing. Was there someone else? Harrison, Lars, I don't know. But people are looking at different markets now after connecting with different people at the Vegas event, right? Or even
It
people are
must have been
starting.
you. It could have been Jack. Jack's too mean.
No, no, no. But then people are even pivoting to maybe even doing like the rent by room, like Jared, right? Or even people are starting to look into more short term rental type stuff. So just after meeting all these different people, you have more ideas that come through your head, right? So I think that's interesting, and that's why it's great to go to these events. So Sierra, like we talked about also too, you took some time off social media for a while. I hear a lot of people want to do that, right? Like they feel like
Mhm.
social media is toxic and time consuming. So what is your take on taking a year off, basically?
Yeah, so I think it's been enjoyable in more ways than it's not. I think it has freed up a lot of focus and like ability to really be present um and lean into the stuff that I'm doing just in real life. Uh it definitely, takes a hit on social things, especially because where I'm at, um, I don't do a lot of since I don't go to a 9 to 5, I don't have a lot of, like, social stuff going on outside of my online community, so that part is, a bummer, but as far as, like, being off of social media in general, I mean, creating content is extremely time consuming, as you know, so it definitely freed up a lot of time, um, and I don't know, I enjoyed it. It was good, and I think that I would do it again, maybe not for as long of a period at a time, but in short stints.
What platform did you miss the most?
Oh, good question. I was really enjoying X, I think, for, there at the end. It was really enjoyable, it was just fun, and usually social media isn't quite as fun, but it's definitely more engaging over there. Uh, I'm fortunate enough to still be a part of, like, the group text and some of the YouTube stuff, even though I wasn't hopping on the channel, so I didn't feel like I was missing out as much, but I have no idea what anyone has been talking about, like, in the different, topic areas, and X is just really good about kind of quickly hitting, like, a bunch of different things, and so I miss that.
Yeah, I think X is a great place, and I know a lot of people hear bad things and they try to stay away from it. But honestly, I mean, to me, if you're not on X, you're not getting a lot of information, good or bad. I mean, definitely you have
Yeah,
to
true.
filter through it. But even like if you see some sort of economic uh, tweet or post or whatever you want to call it now, just reading the comments, you just see so many different ways how people are viewing it. So that's why I feel it's important because you may see it one way. Like if someone puts up this chart, you see it a certain way, but then you start reading the comments and you see a different person's perspective right there. Like, oh no, I see it this way based on these things, right? So I think that's what's super great about X2 is that you see a lot of different perspectives. And yeah, there's a lot of trolling and shit on there, but like I said, you just gotta filter through it, so it's a lot of fun. So Jack, if you were to take time off of social media, you think which platform would you probably miss? You think the most?
Um, I really only use YouTube because I don't really I'm already phasing out Facebook just because there's nothing really going on with it. Honestly, it wasn't for the fact I'm trying to sell stuff. I and advertise the lawn care business. I just really wouldn't be on Facebook much at all. Yeah, so probably just YouTube really.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're following on your end, but you do have a lot of followers from your channel popping in. You got Bill, Sydney, so you may want to say what's up to some of your followers that's
Hey
paired
guys,
in.
thank you.
Yeah, and so Sydney has a question: is gambling a side hustle? If so, I'm winning. Yeah. Let's see. A question from Wealth Building Journey looks like homes and hustles here. Everything has inherent risk, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, some way less than others, but typically, higher risk, higher reward. It's not always the case. Sometimes it's, the things that require the more time or effort, but maybe not as much risk. Can still pay off better, but there's some things that aren't as risky. But like with the reselling thing, it is a gamble a lot of the times. You have to invest some money up front and then hope that you'll make it on the backside. But you can always develop some sort of model that is pretty low risk and do it within your means. And or you can, some people burn the boats, right, and go all in, and they operate better that way. But it just depends on what your situation is.
I think we're also finding out, like right now, doing nothing is also just as risky, right? So a lot of, well, so
Yeah.
like a lot of people who whether they save money, whether just had retirement accounts, people that relied on Social Security, right? That's kind of a lot of the talking points right now, right? The market is definitely taking a hit right now. People are complaining that their retirement accounts are taking a beating. And if your only plan was to put money in these and you're going to live off them, then yeah, of course, it's affecting you a lot more. But if you're someone that did take some risks during your journey, learned how to make more income, learned how to start a business or have these other assets, then you're probably not as affected by just these fluctuations in the market, right? Which you really have no control over, right? So I think doing nothing too is just as risky, right? If you're just going to put money into retirement accounts and things like that. Oh, here's a question from your channel from Bill. Jack, maybe you can answer it first. Then, do you guys have a number of units you want to max out at?
Honestly, I don't really have a set number exactly. I mean, nothing more than 200 or 300.
Oh, geez.
No, I don't know. I kind of think that for me, I want to get to between like 50 and 80 units, but I'm really just trying to get to 20 units so that both me and Cynthia can really just get out of like almost working all together. And when we do choose to work, it's going to be what we want to do, and not even like what I was talking about before, where I'd still be forced to work in other businesses and stuff. I wouldn't be forced to do anything at that point.
So what about you, Sierra, as far as door count, or is it cash flow amount, or is it even like businesses? Because like you said, you're doing a lot of different things, right? So what does your maybe end goal look like? Oh, looks like maybe she got frozen.
Lifestyle
Oh,
goal. Oh, is it me? Yeah, I think it's more of just the fewest number possible to get that feel stable and sufficient. So, you never know what deal you're going to come across. So I don't know that counting doors would matter if I got some sort of grand slam of a deal that was equated to 3 different doors, and then I would feel like had a head start. So yeah, I don't know. I think it would be less than 10 if I had to say, though.
yeah, me too. I mean, I think that's why people keep always asking if I'm looking for stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. Nothing really makes that much sense right now, and I don't really need anything, so I'm not really. I mean, I'm looking, but it really either has to just be a home run deal or just something that makes a lot of sense for me. That's very not too much hassle, I guess. But ultimately, yeah, it really comes down to cash flow amount and almost like quality of asset now. So I think even like Cody Davis, that's what he's doing a little bit too. He's trying to kind of clean up his portfolio, consolidate, but even like, transitioning from um, older properties to newer, more probably maintenance-free properties in a sense, right? So kind of upgrading his portfolio. Let's see. Is Sierra low-key goated at basketball? Sierra low.
I definitely played some basketball. I'm from a big sports family, so
Yeah, I heard what your dad was what with the Indians, right? Or
well, yeah,
drafted.
he was drafted to several Major League Baseball teams. He did not go play, but he was a big baseball guy. And
Yes.
he coached all of the sports, and I have 3 brothers, and we all played sports, so yeah.
Yes. Indians. I said it. That's the only. They're not. No. They're not the Guardians. They're the Indians. They'll always be the Indians, and they're coming back, just like the Redskins. Uh, um, let's see. The power comes in more. Yes. Uh, yeah.
It
Chester's.
can.
Yeah. Chester's saying the power comes in more units. Wait. The power comes in more units per property. Okay. What's your thoughts on that, Jack?
Um, I'm not sure, to be honest. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep plugging away at what I'm working on and just keep moving forward and just reach financial freedom. Honestly, even with what I was saying before, at some point I'm going to get to the point where properties are going to be getting paid off, and I'm going to be trying to sell off some of the crappier ones to pay off better performers and consolidating. So I don't think there's quite really a number. It's just what's right for you in your situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Chester did say he put it there. I also put it there in the chat. The link for the YouTube for Dion to try and get him selected to speak at BPCon this year. I don't know. Is anyone gonna go to BPCon though this year? I'm not sure. I don't even know. It's in what, Vegas? I think it's in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but
I
yeah,
thought
late.
about it, but being that it's in Vegas, I don't want to go to Vegas twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Late start Welt says, "Show me the cash flow, baby." Yeah, I think, after a while too, you start realizing the door counts don't matter as much, right? I mean, it's more just, uh, like you said, the quality of property, cash flow, even like maybe the potential of growth or your exit strategy for the property and how easy it is to exit down the road. So there's a lot of things you probably don't think about in the beginning. In the beginning, you kind of get caught up in, oh, if I make $200 per door or whatever, I need this many doors, and that's kind of how you break things down. And as you start talking to other people, you start realizing like everyone doesn't view it the same way, right? And you just start kind of resonating with different people that kind of have the same path, maybe. uh, aren't Jack Shays just righteous? Yes, they are. You should get sponsored, Jack, and that could be, you can put your Amazon link for that. What brand is that?
I don't know, whatever's at the Dollar General.
That's
There isn't even a name on them that they're that cheap.
That's what my coworker used to do. He used to always just buy like cheap glasses because he'd always lose them. So he wouldn't spend money on expensive glasses. He would just always buy kind of cheaper things or other glasses because he'd always be misplacing them or losing them or whatnot. I gotta start
The
getting
only thing I see, the only thing I
reading
see on them
glasses soon.
is made in China.
All right, so let's kind of focus a little bit more. I'm getting off topic here, but um, you know, we were trying to talk about goals and pivoting. After going to these events, do you think that's something hard to focus on though? Like if you go in it kind of with your kind of goal or vision set in place, and then you start hearing all these different cool things people are doing, do you think it's hard to stick with what you want to do, or is it good to be around these people that show you different things that they're working on? So, what's your thoughts on that, Jack?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, and it really just depends on your own personal mindset, because um, kind of like what you're saying earlier, people sometimes feel like they're failing and they're not moving fast enough. So they go in there and they hear, like, they might go in and, for example, hear what Jared's doing, and be like, "Oh, that's the next thing I need to start doing," and not realizing, that Jared spent a lot or quite a bit of time in that arena. He studied all that stuff. So, and then they go jump in, and it's just an epic failure for them. Where if they would have just stayed in their lane, they would have been much better off to begin with. But like for people kind of more like us, where it's just like, we're doing what we're doing, and that's really kind of it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it definitely is hard to stay focused when you hear all these cool and interesting things people are doing. Sierra, after going, I know you went to the ORAD event year one, but you also went to what, FinCon, I believe, things like that.
Mhm.
So is it hard to stay in your lane, or did you see yourself trying to jump into other things after?
Yeah, I think especially being a, I don't know, relatively newer investor, towards the beginning, it is very difficult to pick a strategy and stick with it, and I think the market makes it very, very hard too, because there are certain houses that only work with certain strategies, and there's very few opportunities that come up, and you might see something that would work great as a burr, but you don't want to do the burr strategy, but it might be
Hmm.
the only opportunity in your market. And so I think it has been tricky in that regard, especially if you're not established. But the more that I have been in the community and gone to the events and talked with people, I think the more I realize that staying in my lane is really important. And I've done the live and flip thing very well, and that is what I know and understand how to do. And um, after finding one rental at a time, I did venture out into acquiring a rental property that didn't need any work, and it's worked out fine, but it's not necessarily my wheelhouse, and I don't necessarily know or understand ways to leverage it as well as just another live and flip. And so I think that it is hard not to kind of change or dabble in other strategies. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you can make it work for you, but it is a lot more comfortable to just stay in your lane and like cheer everyone on. I know after the first event, the idea of an ADU from the ADU guy was like really appealing, but also it takes a lot of knowledge and understanding of how that works in your specific market to even pull it off. So, there are the other options out there that you get shiny object syndrome, I guess, with, but ultimately, I do think if you stay with what you know, or pick a lane and to stay in, that you will probably be happier that you did that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, talking about ADUs also, I know I don't know, I think he might have posted on YouTube. I know it was on Facebook, I think, but if anyone hasn't, go check out Derek Sherrill, that ADU guy. He put out a video. I think he did a walkthrough of a Boxable unit. I'm not sure what event he was at, but Boxable had like a display unit out there, talking to investors, things like that. And he kind of walked through it, and he didn't. Maybe he has his breakdown somewhere else. I don't think he put it on like a video, maybe because maybe he didn't want to either say good or bad things about it. Maybe bad things about it. But he kind of showed just where his concerns would be and things like that. He looked at kind of the craftsmanship and certain things. But he also wanted to point out that this model probably was a traveling version of it where it's probably getting folded up and put traveling to different places, so maybe a lot of the wear and tear is from being moved all over the place too. So but it's pretty cool how he walked through it and kind of how his eyes are looking at certain things as far as the build and what his thoughts were. I can't wait. Bill says I can't. Oh, hey, what's up, Andy? Andy's here, big Andy. I find myself being over picky. I can't find anything that the numbers work in an area I like. That's what Bill says. Sorry, Bill. I know you're in the. I see you all on Dion's channels and things. I'm not sure what market you're in, and do you invest out of state or you're investing in your market currently? But yeah, I think that's definitely the hardest thing is just kind of staying in your lane. And I think for me, um, I think that's where it's for me. That's why it's been good trying to build the YouTube channel and the social media side. It kind of keeps all that noise on the outside things kind of in the back burner for me. Since I'm focusing on this, I can't go off trying to do short term rentals, and I can't go off and start doing some rent by the room and goofing around with all that type of stuff. So I think the focus on the YouTube channel side has been a kind of a good focus for me in a sense where I'm just letting my rentals kind of stabilize and kind of figure itself out. Oh, Bill's in Kansas City. He said, "Hey, what's up, Ray? Ray's here. So go check out Ray's video too. My video with him on YouTube came out. Great interview. He's doing some cool stuff. He is definitely an entrepreneur. He is guy that doing cool stuff with videography, photos. He started in like wedding photos, and now he's doing a lot of real estate photos, drone stuff. So go check out that video. Let's see. Let's see.
I would like to know if Bill's in a suburb of Kansas City or if he's trying to do Kansas City itself.
Okay. Well, Bill, if you are there, if you heard Sierra's question, maybe you can put that in the chat. Let's see. One option for being able to do projects that are outside of your comfort zone is forming partnerships with others who have the knowledge base and that you may be lacking. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I'm not sure. Jack, Sierra, have you guys done any partnerships with anyone?
I mean, I do business stuff with partners. Real estate, not really. No.
Is that something in your guys' future, you think? Are you guys looking to maybe partner on real estate things? Sierra first, maybe?
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. I would be open to it. I'm not opposed to it, but I just don't foresee that happening.
Jack, what about you? Is that something? I think you are trying to grow and scale, and I think that's from what I get is in your future, possibly, right? That you're looking to maybe grow that way.
Yeah, potentially. I think for me the biggest thing is, I wouldn't toss out the idea, but at the same time, I don't know who would want to necessarily come on board. But that's one of the reasons why I kind of got my channel going, is just showing people what I'm doing. So if they had some interest, I could show them a whole background of stuff that I've done in the past and up to this point. But yeah, I'm open to it, but I don't have anything currently. I'm I've done other stuff with businesses in the past, like even like the engine shop that is going to be currently, shutting down. That's something that, that was a partnership, for example, that's coming to an end. But that's honestly my only experience with a partnership.
Yeah, I think you just have to. I don't know. I mean, I've never done like a partnership. So I definitely feel like you got to get around people that are doing it. You got to figure out like personalities, and some people do great with it, right? Some people maybe that's their only option, right, to get in the door and get started. So you just got to figure out what works for you. Me personally, I I know myself, and I think I would have a not that I would not that I would have a hard time. I think another person would have a hard time dealing with me. Um, just from because I probably don't take things as serious, maybe in a sense. So I think someone that partnered with me would get frustrated at my kind of level of just go with the flow. So I think that's where and me knowing myself, I feel like I wouldn't be a good partner for a lot of people from that standpoint. But Bill, if you are still there, Sierra did ask you a question or comment back to you. Says, "Are you being picky about every aspect of the deal?" Late start wealth, slow and steady, still feels slow when you're looking at many months or a year. Patience, slow and boring, and strategically planned. Beta test that plan with investors who are already working. Yep. So I think it is definitely you don't realize it, but you're probably going a lot faster than most people out there, right? I mean, it just seems like you're going slow because maybe everyone in the community is being proactive or doing things, right? But if you probably look from a bigger lens and you step back, how many people are actually investing in real estate, right? So I mean, maybe like coming to these channels and these lives, every day you see people that are doing it. But if I was to step back and I look at like my fire station or firehouse, and let's say there's three different platoons, 10 people per platoon, so 30 people at my station, right? I mean, I'm probably the only one investing in real estate, right? So if you look at it from that standpoint, if you actually look outside of where you're probably spending a lot of your time, you're probably way faster or moving way more ahead than a lot of people out there. Sydney, I believe, is coming from your channel, Jack. Sydney says, I'm incredibly wealthy. It's a problem. Anyone know where I go from here? Jack, I'm not sure if you know who Sydney is, but what would be maybe your opinion or thought on that? Because we don't give it financial advice here, right? So, what would be your message to Sydney?
I guess it would really come down to the tax implications of like, are you being how heavily taxed you're being? Um, because you don't want it to just sit and park. So I guess find what works for you and just keep the money moving in some aspect. You know, kind of like what Dion was talking about on his channel. Well, he doesn't necessarily want to buy another rental property, but he doesn't want the money to just sit there at the same time. That would be my biggest advice.
Not advice, I told you. Sarah, what nah, Sarah, what would you say to Sydney if he's incredibly wealthy? Maybe what would be the move or plan? I guess.
I would say start with being grateful for the problems that you have and um, recognizing that the rest of us wish we had those problems. Um, yeah, I mean, once you hit that point in my mind, it's about allocating for the future and what's important and meaningful to you and taking steps to use that wealth as a tool. And you're not in the accumulating phase or that part of life where you're really trying to build it. If you've got there, then you're going to start look at expending it or preserving it or whatever's important to you.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest thing is, what does wealthy mean, though, right? I mean, we could be looking at it from, are you financially wealthy? Are you have your health? Do you have family, loved ones? I mean, do you have a job you love? So I think there's a lot of ways to look at wealth. I mean, some people look at their owning a home free and clear, their net worth, and they feel they're wealthy. So it's, to me, it's really just understanding what game you're playing, and have you won the game, or what's your kind of winning number, right? And I think the biggest thing to me is, like they say, right, kind of know when you've won the game, and know what is your enough. And if you're not in that accumulation phase anymore, then yeah, a lot of it comes down to preservation. And whether you're into leaving generational wealth, or you're trying to build generational wealth. I don't know if you have kids or families, or your plan to leave things for family, or you're gonna sell everything off. But there's a lot of ways to look at it. I think ultimately, though, it's just your happiness, right? What makes you happy? Find your passions out there, and like I think a lot of what we're trying to do, right? Document your journey. Share what you're doing. Tell other people that it's possible. Some people are wealthy off of 5K a month, right? Some people might need 10K a month to feel wealthy, but just kind of know what the game is and what your end game is. Um, yeah, some people in the comments are saying, Sydney, give me your extra money. Well, Sydney, you may have some private money lenders. If that's something you're thinking about, you may have people in the chat that would you guys can work out some partnerships with. Um, yeah, Bill says yes, I can take some of that off. Just send it my way. Let's see. If someone doesn't think they are moving fast enough, here is some perspective. Only 65% of the population own a home at all. So being in position to own multiple properties is already substantial. Yep, that's a great point. Let's see. Well, everyone's kind of chatting back and forth in the comments between themselves, but um, yeah. Let's see. Sydney says half of it goes to my wife and her new and her new boyfriend Bill, and the rest goes to gambling. Well,
So I
I
got a
don't
fun,
know.
or you guys were talking about, or someone mentioned gambling earlier. I got a interesting thing about that. Someone's gambling can be a side hustle, and on how good or not good you are. I think me personally, I wouldn't. I don't gamble. I just don't. But Cynthia's dad, he was a professional poker player. He won't call himself that because it makes him sound like a card shark. But I mean, what else would you call someone that buys two Monte Carlos from their poker winnings, pays off a house, and sticks a kid through college?
Are you driving right now, Jack?
Card shark sounds good.
No, I'm sitting in the truck, but I had to turn it on the AC, and I'm holding it right by the air vents.
Jack, you're killing me, man.
It's my jackassenism.
Uh, uh, yeah, yeah, Sydney, don't talk about half quitting your wife. Yeah, I don't. That's like my biggest expense is my son's mom, and I don't understand. I don't even bother with it already. But what are you laughing about, Sierra?
I'm just curious, how many rental properties does it take to sustain
Sustain
that?
what?
Your son's mom.
Well, let's just say me renting my house out has been very financially helpful for both of us. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, Chester says always, always, always start with your expenses to know how much income you need. Yeah. Yeah. But I also
I,
think to oh go ahead, Jack.
I was gonna say I think that's the big thing. The biggest thing is in your financial journey, working towards financial. If you can get like your bad debt taken under control and get everything in that aspect, you're gonna. When I say pay everything off, I don't mean like what Dave Ramsey talks about, have all the mortgages. Just get like all your credit cards and all your lines of credit and just all your stuff that just weighs you down.
Exactly. I mean, I think that is probably on display right now. That is probably the biggest struggle that people have, that we have as a society, is figuring out our expenses and a budget and learning how to wants and needs and cutting back on spending. And I mean, as you look at even people today complaining about or pushing back against Doge finding waste, fraud, and abuse, and trying to figure out how to balance the budget, how to cut back on spending. And you see all the pushback on people that are trying to say that. I mean, I get maybe you don't agree with the approach they're having, but people are trying to disagree with cutting back on waste in a sense, and that to me blows my mind, right? And you just see how hard it is on a big scale, right? And you know, people. I think that is the biggest thing, is trying to figure out our spending and budget, and but at the end of the day, I think also we want to be able to increase our income, right? So we can only cut our expenses so much, and I think, you know, that's kind of the vision, and I think Zuber talked about it too on his daily financial today. So if anyone doesn't follow like the All In podcast too, I think that's a great podcast to follow. But yeah, they broke it down a great way into maybe the vision that Trump has for his economic plan, and it's also, you know, it's kind of a three-legged chair, right? You know, part of it is tariffs, you know, income, reduce spending, but it's also us figuring out ways to bring manufacturing back and uh, increase income, and more like a tax on consumption, right? Things that you purchase, and not necessarily just a income tax. So, but I think at the end of the day, it's really, yeah, understanding a budget, cutting back on wasteful spending, and figuring out how to make more money. And if we can keep it that simple in our lives, you know, we'll be winning. Uh, Chester, I have not missed what question do you want me to? Because some is for your talking back and forth. Let's see. I'll go back then. Chester said I'm suppressing his questions in there because Chester didn't like that I in our group chat I told him he can't use Chat GPT to come up with more questions at the ORAD event. He's limited to two for the speakers. Uh, let's see. There was one that I saw that I know I skipped over, not on purpose, but I don't know where it went. But put another question in Chester, and I'll read it off. Um, What about you, Sierra? So what's on the table for you? Are you can we expect you to be at year three? Is that, I mean, it's kind of, I know it's kind of far out, but will you be at?
Yeah, it is kind of far out. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in being there for year 3. I'm not sure what, because I'm anticipating selling the rental property that I have currently and would love to reallocate and get into something different this year. Just now kind of getting at that point where it's going to be dealt with. So I'm not sure what this year is going to hold, but whatever it is, I'll be excited to share it with everyone and hopefully celebrate some kind of win by the time the event comes around. I think that was the vibe that I enjoyed the most the first year. Was it felt like a really big celebration of what everyone had accomplished and where everyone was at, and it just felt like a great way to reward ourselves for all the sacrifice that it takes to make this stuff happen.
Sierra also said she's getting arrested next year. She said she's accepting the challenge in Vegas, but but if anyone didn't know too, the white hoodies that Zuber was selling at the event, that was Sierra's handiwork. She made those. So they were big sellers, and I don't know if Dylan is here, but Dylan bought one. But yeah, those are if they weren't white though, that's the only thing. I can't. White is just gonna get dirty too fast for me. So if you want to make a purple one for me with white writing or something,
No, I think you can just wash it.
what do you?
That that's the whole benefit of it being an Oakley branded hoodie, right? Like it's just made well enough that it'll come clean. Like it's not like something that is going to be a headache to take care of. But
Sydney says, "Is Jack a ladies' man, low key?" Hmm. Bill says, "Is anyone going to the bigger pocket he talked about?" Oh, it's in October. I am not planning on being there. It doesn't sound like Jack is because it's in Vegas. Sierra, I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah,
not
I'm not
me.
too sure. I think maybe probably the West Coast people. I think there would be some that might be end up going, but I don't think the East Coast people would probably. I think the East Coast people are hoping there's a East Coast ORAD event by then. So Jack might be still working on that. I'm not sure. Yeah, see, even Ray says just wash it. He's like laughing. Well, anyways,
You don't own any white clothing, Mark?
I try not to. So that's why I have to take my renewal photo for my passport, and it says you should wear like a white shirt. And I'm like, fuck, I don't have a white T-shirt. Like I'm scrambling to.
It's those cats. They get your stuff dirty, huh?
Yes. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So year three. I know Jack's kind of on the fence, right? Jack's working on some
Yeah,
things. He's still on the fence
I'm
about year
really,
three, right?
yeah, I just don't know what's. There's too many things that can happen and might not happen. So it comes down to what all does and doesn't happen between now and then.
See, Sydney says, give the man a purple one, please, for the fans. I want a number 1 of 1 on it. A custom 1 of 1.
Custom one of
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Do you still want Zuber's face on the back? His whole
Oh, now you're just
caricature?
throwing me under the bus in front of everyone, right?
Well, I'm just saying. I don't think Zuber wants me putting out one of one merchandise with his face on the back
Well, I
just for
want the
you to
house
wear.
on it. I just want the one rental at a time house on the back and on the chest
Uh-huh.
part or on the heart part or yeah. So
Yeah.
whatever. He takes criticism very well. So that is our one. We did have a discussion about in Vegas, and that is the one thing. I don't want to say people didn't like, but just the. I think more people prefer just having a simple, the one rental at a time house logo on it and on the back. That is the kind of
Yeah.
takeaway. And yes, I said it, but
Yeah.
I'll just say other people did say it, but
Well, the way I understood it was that graphic on the back was important to him. It was meaningful to him in some way. I don't know if he explained that or not. I'm not sure exactly, but I do know that that graphic on the back was something that was meaningful to him. It represented something, or maybe whoever did the art or something like that. But yeah,
All right. I like this Sydney person. It says, yeah, I can't wear white underwear.
I think we have a comedian on our hands.
See, but Bill says, I'm with you. No white. Way easy to trash it. And then Bill says, how about Jack's face on it?
We could do the Mount Rushmore with everyone's faces from YouTube on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So I know, Jack, you're also going to be chatting with Tom Wilson, the working man investor who I had the pleasure of sitting down with last week. And he's also trying to build his, YouTube channel and brand. He's in the school community. So you'll have a lot of fun with that. Tom's a UE uneducated economist kind of branch off, where he follows him quite a bit. So that should be
Yeah,
fun for you.
yeah, it'll be good. It'd be interesting talking to someone in a little bit of a different realm than what I normally talk about. So that'd be cool.
So what about you, Sierra? Are we going to have you regular now, weekly? Is that something we're going to get you back on, you think, on a regular basis? Or
I mean, I would like to be on more regularly. I don't know about weekly. We'll see what my schedule looks like. But I had some downtime this last couple weeks, so and I'm in my studio setting as professional as it is, so it makes it easy to hop on here.
no, yeah, that's good. You're always welcome back on. Like I said, I'll bump someone off if I have to, if you're able to come on. Uh,
Oh, don't say that. I'm going to be the one that gets bumped off on the C string.
No, see, look, Jack, I know I can count on you, Jack. So that's why there's only three. I try to have three usually. It fits better on the screen. But it's like last week, someone canceled, and then I asked Dylan last minute to jump on, and then Sierra actually said, "Oh, I can do it too." So then I said, "Ah, all right, everyone can come on." And
See, and you
everyone's
didn't kick anyone off on my behalf.
well, yeah, that's true. But if I need to, but everyone's face was all scrunched up on the screen. But we just got to work on Stan's camera because his head was cut off at the top and the bottom, or he has to sit
Oh,
further back when it's the four people. But I know people
makes
don't
sense.
like this portrait mode. They like the landscape better. But I think the portrait mode it shows up better on Instagram, and I think it definitely makes it easier for me to make clips after. So hopefully you guys can deal with it.
But are the clips getting traction, or do you benefit more from the landscape on YouTube?
I don't. Yeah, we can always remove Mark. Yeah, so Joe, on Friday, I might just be in the background. So if anyone doesn't know, Friday I'm doing a live at 11 a.m. in the morning. It's going to be the ladies of ORAT kind of bullying me into doing a live. They said there's too many guys on my channel, and they want to have a ladies perspective, more ladies perspective. So Friday is going to be a lot of the ladies from ORAT on. I think Sarah, Katie, Jen, and Lindsay. So I don't think I'll have a chance to say one word on Friday. So I might just be in the background playing with the controls and popping in all the chat and stuff. Yes, I know Joe hates it, but Joe can deal with it. Sorry, what did you ask me again now, Sierra? You said something about, oh, if I get more following, right? Or
Yeah, if it pays off to have the landscape mode on YouTube, or if the shorts are really, getting you new followers.
I don't know if it matters. I mean, I think what YouTube is trying to do is push this version to be like the TikTok version. So I think they're trying to push this
Mhm.
portrait mode, but also I think I'm allowed to receive jewels or something like this. I have no idea. That's what Hugo keeps asking me. He keeps asking, "Do you have your jewels thing set on the portrait, because so I think if you're doing portrait videos or things or lives, there's a feature to, I don't know, buy jewels or donate jewels or some crap like that. I have no idea what that is, but I think I turned it on. But supposedly that's another feature that YouTube is trying to push out. So in their battle or competition to keep up with TikTok. Late Start Wealth says yes, this mode is fine on his phone. The chat covered the bottom person, so that's why I always put myself on the bottom. See, so it always cuts me off. So see, so I always put me on the bottom, and I try to put whoever's speaking in the middle, if possible. Mark will blow up if he can't speak. Hey, Andy, come on, man. Andy's my new buddy in Ohio. But did you hear about the story, Sierra, of Cody trying to eat noodles with ramen?
Yes, you told
Yeah,
me.
that was oh, Jack.
You said it might have been the funniest thing you've
Okay, wait.
ever
Jack was
seen.
there. Was it funny, Jack?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. At first, I didn't realize what was going on because I was talking to John Morris to my right, and I see you laughing and which direction you're looking. I look over in that direction. I just see Cody. It looks like he's trying to stab the noodles with the chopsticks.
Yeah, that was. And then to make things worse, John, who was it? Oh, it's John, right? He ate the exploding pot sticker.
Oh yeah. He it squirted on me and it like exploded all over him.
Yeah. So do you guys watch? Do you watch Seinfeld? Have you guys watched Seinfeld? Oh, Cody's here. Hey, see, what's up, Cody?
Yeah,
So
I have watched
did you see Seinfeld with the crepes? The Cuban, so he got the Cubans, the cigar rollers to roll the crepes because I forget what he insulted those people, and then the people that were rolling the crepes quit. So his thinking was, I'm gonna get the guys that do the Cuban cigars to roll the crepe, and then they rolled them so tight that they started exploding. Do you remember that one?
I'm not remembering it, no, but I mean that sounds like
Yeah, so
Seinfeld.
that's so we ordered these beef pancake pot sticker type things, and John Morris, Late Start Wealth, who's here, Cody says, "Be careful, I'm always listening." See, so John grabs it and he bites into it, and it's like so tight that the thing just explodes on. I think it was Cody actually too, but yeah, it was a fun lunch. Just let them have mute control over your microphone. Wait, let who have control? The ladies? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Well, I also try to mute myself every time when I'm not talking because some people said when I'm typing it makes too much background noise. So I try to mute myself when I'm typing replies and things like that. Never appetize. Hey, what are you talking about, Uber? I always order Uber.
That's what
Oh,
I'm saying. They said never let Mark order appetizers, and I said never
oh
appetizers,
yeah,
just
yeah. Don't
Ubers.
let Curtis get Ubers because you're gonna go on the rideshare route and have to pick up like 10 people before you get somewhere. The ladies, yeah. Don't never let me talk, John. I don't think I'm gonna get a word in on Friday. Trust me, I don't think I'm gonna have a chance to say anything. Let's see what else. So Jack, how's the ORAT plans for East Coast? Are you working on that? Have you talked to Zuber? What's the latest update on that?
I I need to talk to Zuber and see what he wants and what he's looking for because I'm kind of at a point where I found a few different venues and I got the prices of them, but I don't know what he wants as far as catering. So I think my next step is actually to try and actually talk to him about it because I wanted to just talk to him and just be like, this is what I think it's going to cost if you're interested in something like this. But I think I actually need to talk to him to see what he would want so I can go out and finish getting the rest of whatever he would want in it. I kind of have a little bit of a thought about it, where I think we can probably get away with not having the recording studio just because I was thinking about having more of the people that are still in the financial journey, that like a lot of the smaller people. So like it's not going to be like I was thinking about calling it like maybe like the Young Guns event. So like you have people that are still in the climb, presenting. I don't know. It's just a thought. That was something else I want to talk about too.
Yeah, man. I think if you can figure something out, I think you'd have a lot of people show up. There is probably a lot of people Midwest, East Coast that would love to attend that. See, Sierra's already nodding yes. She would love to check it out, I think. Um,
Yeah, that would be. I mean, that would be really nice to have something east.
yeah.
Are you going to get up on stage, Mark?
I am not getting on stage. That's not my thing. I'm the front of the house guy. I said I'm just there to greet everyone and make trouble and have fun and
But how much
get
more
in
front
trouble
of the
with.
house can you get than on the stage?
I got nothing to say really because there's not. I'm not gonna say much different than probably what Millennial Mike has been saying. You know, so my
But if Millennial
message is
Mike's not there,
probably
then you could do that.
yeah, but like I said, I mean, as far as like out of state investing goes, things like that. I mean, I don't probably have much more to say than what he's already said. The past 2 years. So that's why, like for me, I'm really hoping like Brandon or Jared, or even Aaron. I mean, are people that hopefully can get on stage. What is Sierra laugh? Let's see what's going on here.
Joe says he'll get on stage, he'll cave. I believe that to be true.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't want to say nothing bad about Joe. Joe's a good guy. I gotta admit, Joe's a good guy. Even though he's an ex-cop and he's a Packers fan, so he's like two check marks against him already. Uh, man, what a YouTube. Let's see. Let's see. Sierra from Sydney. What's Sierra's favorite musical piece?
My favorite musical piece. Um, yeah, I don't know that I have a great answer for that. I'm in Tennessee, so I listen to a lot of country music when I'm here, I suppose.
What do you mean when you're here? So
I
you
don't have,
mean you listen to different music wherever you are? Oh,
that's true. Facts.
okay. I did a recording with my cousin. He's a realtor and he's a musical performer. He had a top album in like Hawaii and all that, and um, but he has his own podcast, like a local one. So I was on his channel, so go check it out, everyone. But anyways, he asked me at the end, and I didn't even realize. He's like, "Oh, so what is the three like albums or whatever that I guess maybe you or the last three albums you listened to?" And I'm like, "Shit, like I never." There's like probably art, yeah. So country, like nobody would think, but I'm fully into like country music. Like that's my thing. So if it was for me, mine is I said the three artists is Zach Brown Band, Chris Stapleton, and Eric Church. Those are my three.
Oh, you like country music?
Are you being sarcastic? Oh,
No, I'm for real. That's your
how do
top
you only
three?
know that now?
I'm just surprised.
How do you only know that now?
Is that like on your workout mix is country music?
Sure. Let's see. Yes, Ray says let's do it in Seattle so I can walk to it. What about an event down south, perhaps New Orleans? Yeah, so Stan probably wants us all to stay at his Airbnbs, and then but
New Orleans is not I don't that I mean that's where FinCon was the other year and I mean I'm not a fan.
don't get Hugo's opinion. Hugo's like, man, that place is but yeah, Stan loves it there. And Matt, Ned, yeah, but even like Ned's like shit. I don't do half of that stuff because I live here, right? Just like me, I don't do most of the tourist stuff in Waikiki because I'm here, right? Um, Bill says, "Man with the YouTube has nothing to say." I think that's towards me. Yeah, I'm very soft spoken. I don't have a lot to say. Uh, no, Mark's a killer on stage. I can tell. All right, Chester. Thanks for stopping by, man. Chester got a bounce. What about Jack's favorite music? Don't leave the king out of it. Okay, Jack, what do you got?
I'm always bouncing to something different. I'll just talk about what I lately been listening to. So I've been listening to a lot of Andrew Bird, especially the Pulaski at Night album. I just found the other day out of a YouTube recommendation. This was it. I'm probably gonna butcher his name because it's Spanish, but was it Estos Tone? But he does a lot of Spanish guitar with no lyrics and stuff. I've been enjoying that lately, and I don't know. A lot of times I put on different blues or in the background, or if I really feel like listening something, I'll throw on like '90s grunge or heavier heavier alternative metal or I don't know, classic rock. I don't know. But basically, I'll listen to anything for only so long. Unless
And
it's
like,
Taylor Swift, in which that's a 0 second tolerance for me.
okay, I got no idea what you listen to, Josh, off of that, but I want to see your playlist now. All of a sudden, um, Hyder's here. Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, we got to reschedule. I guess me and Hyder had a conflict. We were trying to get him and his son on because his son. I don't know if you heard, Sierra, but Hyder's son did attend the event. So I wanted to get him and the son on to kind of get the son's feedback on what his thoughts were.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get it scheduled, but we got to change things up. But Mark and a cowboy hat. You know, I would actually wear a hat like Jack. I want to get a hat like Jack, but a cowboy hat is Dion's thing, so I don't know. So we'll see. I gotta figure out my own look. Ray says,
What size
uh,
head do you have?
I have a fat head. I have a weird shaped head. So I have like I'm known as like the bob I'm known as like the bobblehead at the station, where my neck probably my head is, you know, disproportioned to my body. But Ray says, yeah, if you're on stage again, I'll wipe your tears away when you get your. Yeah, it was something in the air. I told you guys. I don't know if Sierra heard, but I was kind of tearing up when I got my belt. Uh,
I heard you say that on your interview with Zuber.
yeah, it was a touching moment. That's why I got it. But
I think it's funny how you threw your coffee at me.
it's I didn't throw my coffee at you. Hold on. Now we're getting that. Joe
You,
says
you,
that's
you
ridiculous.
handed it off briskly.
Joe says I never shut up. Stan says he does everything in New Orleans, 100% tourist stuff. Went to every parade, Mardi Gras for 8 straight days. Yeah, I saw you post that, man. So go check out Stan on Instagram, man. He has some cool photos out there. What's going on?
I mean, meeting and making the connection with Stan was like the highlight of the New Orleans FinCon for me. I feel like the rest of it, I mean, but I did stay in an Airbnb that was essentially, I don't know. It was one of the ones where it was rent by the room. So
Oh,
I shared the space with a bunch of other people renting other rooms. And when you're in New Orleans as a female and you're not traveling with anyone, it just isn't that fun.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you had it's like a rent by the room Airbnb thing.
Yeah. So I wouldn't recommend it as like hosting an event there. I know that it's fun touristy, but I would just pick somewhere different.
Yeah. Well, if nothing does happen between now and year three, Vegas will be fun. I think people that didn't attend year two that went to year one are definitely excited, especially seeing all the feedback. Uh, so I don't know if you listened to all the recaps here, or maybe tuned into a few, but is there any
Mhm.
takeaways that maybe you heard that you thought um, Zuber, I guess, addressed after year one, or things that you heard maybe still need to work on, or what's your looking forward to year 3, I guess. What are you most looking forward to, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's definitely putting a lot of effort into fine-tuning it to be, incredible every year, and I think that's awesome. That's definitely a perk of having it in the same place every year. I do really like the venue, and it sounds like he's working on ways to, uh have it set up so that there are those background conversations that happen, because it seems like that part of it is a huge part of it even when the speakers are speaking. So setting it up in a way to be more ideal for that. I caught that and think that's a great idea. I mean, I did hear that he addressed some things. I don't know that I left year one thinking that there were things that needed addressed necessarily. I know that he had talked about wanting to potentially sell merch, or at least that some people, wanted to buy the book or wanted to be able to grab a little bit of something that had the logo on it or something like that. So it sounds like he made that available. But yeah, I think when it comes to looking forward to year 3, having the opportunity for the panels seems like a really great idea. That's something that they do at FinCon, a lot of panels, and it's a great way to incorporate more speakers and uh, just a better way, I think, for the Q&A format to happen. So I'm looking forward to that part of it.
Any speaker you hope for year 3? Now that you heard Graham Stephan was year 2, like a bit.
I did, but my hope is either Greg Dickerson or Anna Kelly. Those are always the 2 that and I think that's just because when I started watching his channel, like, those were my 2 favorite, people that I always clicked on whenever he had their videos on, and so, to me, they just feel like core members of the One Rental at a Time community, and so I would love to see them at the event.
I always
Alright,
forget about Greg
Jack.
Dickerson.
Yeah, so I remember a video that Zuber did with Greg at one point where Zuber pointed out that Greg is really um the rich dad in Rich Dad Poor Dad, where he doesn't operate in a way where he's trying to take those lessons um, and acquire, but he almost operates in a way where he is a really great teacher of those lessons. And so I've just always viewed him in that light where he wants to share that knowledge and is just super wise, I think, and down to earth when it comes to being practical about how you build wealth. So I would love to hear him talk at the event.
Yeah, he always reminds you of that actor too. I forget his name. Right, the he's the one that was in that music or the play of the what was the was he a drummer? He was like the composer or whatever. What's that guy's name? That actor. He's a well known actor. When I think of it, I'll come up with the name. But Hyder says, what did everyone think of the name tag? So year 1, that was something. There was no name tags. That was something recommended. So year 2, Zuber did have name tags. So for you, Jack, was that helpful? You think?
Excuse me. Yeah, I wish I was smarter. I put it on my shirt. So second day I didn't have one because it just kind of it just didn't have enough stick to anything. So I wish I would have did like a lot of other people where they put the name tag on on the on the lanyard or whatever you call that the pass.
J.K. Simmons. That's the actor. Every time I see Greg Dickerson, that's what I think of. No? All right.
I'm not even sure I know who you're
What?
talking about.
All right. Well, next time you can go look him up. But I think the name tags were a great idea. They were super helpful. I think Zuber may have been notified by Jen already. But so the Frugal Gay, who was on my channel with a recap with PTO for Life the other day, his only thing was that maybe the Zuber could let maybe the people checking people in know who the speakers are, because like Tom came in and unfortunately Jen and whoever else was helping at the front had no idea who Tom was. So Tom was trying to check in and they were like, oh, we don't have your name here, and You're not on
Oh,
no, there's
no.
no like speaker list really. And so, I mean, they gave him a name tag, but I guess Tom kind of felt like maybe could have been a little bit better job as far as, so maybe some sort of special tag for the speakers so that people know who the speakers are or the presenters are. Because even like Tom was like, no, so Tom was there Saturday and Sunday. He was supposed to speak on Saturday, but he got pushed back to Sunday because I think maybe because Graham Stephan came, so he got pushed to Sunday. But Tom was there all day Saturday, and probably nobody besides myself was probably talking to him because people probably didn't know who he was.
Oh,
Well,
no. He's such a wealth of
yeah,
information too.
but then like he said, after he received the belt on Sunday, like everybody wanted to talk to him, right? So I think like if there was a way to let people know who the presenters were, I think a lot of people would have got even more information from him, or even like I think a good idea somebody, we were talking about like a notebook type of thing with all the presenters, but I think a maybe easier, even better idea somebody brought up was like a big board of all the speakers and like a QR code by their name that you could scan and get like their bio, their social media handles, some information on them or whatever. And that way you have all the presenters at the front and you can kind of figure out who they are. But even like Tom said, like he felt bad at eating. He didn't even eat there because he didn't really know like, am I welcome to eat? Like I don't want to be taking someone's food. And so but yeah, that's the only thing that Tom did mention. Uh,
Yeah, I think that's really good feedback.
yeah, and I think Jen felt bad, so I think she may have told Zuber already. But yeah, this was a good fun live. It's always good to get Sierra back. Jack is always entertaining. Jack brought a lot of his followers from his channel today, so that's always fun. So Cindy, Bill, you guys don't need to only tune in when Jack's here. You guys can always also just tune in when I'm going live. Jack doesn't need to be here. It's still fun without Jack. So make sure you're subscribed and get notified. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. That's
What?
funny.
What?
And later this week is going to be fun without Mark because all the ladies are going to be on.
Well, yeah, I'll try to. I told them I'll be on. Well, they were trying to get Cynthia on too. So they wanted Cynthia, but I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
no way Cynthia is going to be on camera. But yeah, I told Cynthia I'll be on my best behavior, but I don't think she'll be on. Yes, a QR pamphlet will be great. Yeah, Hyder. Yeah, I think that'll be super. So I think every year there's things improving. I think even like the outside things, um, will be fun, right? There's more things that people are connecting a lot more. There's bigger groups hanging out together. So I think, yeah, it's going to be a lot more fun. So year 3, we'll get Sierra out there. Hopefully Jack can figure out a way to get there. And yeah, so thanks everyone. You guys want to say any final word? Anything else you guys want to chime in with? Anything you working on? Any help you guys need? Jack, when's your next video coming out? What's going on, man?
I haven't decided if I'm going to do a live yet today, if this actually counts, because I always do a live every day, Monday through Friday. So I'm not sure if this one counts or not. But no, either later today or tomorrow, and then Thursday we have the PA accountability meet. Or is that this Thursday?
I don't know, man.
I'm not even sure what day of the week
You're in
it
charge
is.
of it.
It's Wednesday.
So, oh yeah, so when
Yeah, so we have a PA accountability meeting Thursday then, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, so Wednesday, so tonight, reminder, daylight savings. I think it starts at 3 p.m. No, 3 p.m. No, that's Hawaii. So 6 p.m. Pacific, I think maybe. Tonight is the Frank's accountability group call, the Zoom call. So go check that out if you can. Tomorrow is Jack's. He kind of throws a every other week Western PA surrounding areas accountability group. So if you're want to know more about that market, go check that out. Friday, I'll be live with the ladies. And I don't know, Sierra, what are you working on next then before we sign off?
Yeah, so like I said, my rental property I think is going to I don't know. I think it's going to come up for sale, but the tenants are scheduled to move out within the next week and a half or 2 weeks. So I'm kind of playing the waiting game with them here, answering their questions as they try to deal with moving. and they're moving out of state. So it's kind of been a more difficult process to plan and accommodate. So I don't have the green light yet, but there's a decent amount of stuff that I want to do with that property before I either turn it over or list it for sale. So I'm waiting for that.
Sydney says, I guess I should get ready to leave the pub then, but it's hard to walk at the moment. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm still waiting on my MRI, government efficiency at its best. I'm still just sitting here waiting on both sides to communicate with each other and approve my MRI, but hopefully I can get that done soon and make some travel plans maybe. But we'll see what's going on. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. It was fun. Good to get Sierra back. Always fun having you on, Jack. And I'll see you guys on Friday. All right, everyone.